Bucknutters. It's Tuesday, August 9th, 2016. I am Dan Rubin. This is the Bucknuts Morning 5 and change. It's a gray gem city. That doesn't mean we can't have in the inimitable Duane Long. Duane, how are you this fine morning?
Oh, man, it's football season, so I'm a happy man.
It is football season. Important to note here before we get going with Duane, we will have access to the team today. One of the rare times we do this practice season getting going here. Practice this morning. Our guys will be there, and then at about 11:30 a.m., Luke Fickle and some linebackers and Ed Warner and some tight ends will be on the indoor field, so our guys will get a chance to chat with them. You're going to want to be locked into Bucknuts all day, all morning especially. We don't get many opportunities to cover the team in person. They like to keep things locked down. We'll get a chance to take some more pictures today and get some video as well, so make sure you keep it locked in. And, of course, hope springs eternal as we head into another season, and we've spent a good portion of the off-season being positive. I'm not going to say we're going to be negative today, but today's theme is what worries Duane. So heading into the season, I think we can all make a good argument on how Ohio State's going to win every game. But there are some lingering concerns. I mean, good Lord, they only bring back 6 starters. So, Duane, if you're looking at the squad and the program in general right now, what's your first overall biggest concern about the squad heading into the season?
It's youth and inexperience. It is such a young team. Look at how, like you just said, 6 starters returning. And the thing is, so many of the guys that are going to be stepping in, they haven't played football at the college level. I mean, I look at defensive tackle. You know, you got Michael Hill came on at the end of the year, and we're so lucky to have that because we would be putting true freshmen or redshirt freshmen in there, guys who have never played. Offensive line, we got a few guys that are just this will be their first time playing. Wide receiver, split in particular. Look at what we have there. We got one guy who's caught one ball, and that was 2 years ago. That's just and that's the only thing. You know, we're bursting at the seams with talent. This is the deepest roster, I believe, in college football. There are only a couple that you can bring up in the same conversation as Ohio State right now. But the guys have not played. I think the talent will emerge. Are they going to emerge soon enough to impact the season? That's my real top-of-the-line concern is can these guys mature with that huge Oklahoma game coming up so early? Are they going to mature enough to keep the youth and inexperience from really impacting the season in a negative way?
The position group on defense you think that concerns you the most, and why?
You gotta be tough in the middle. We're gonna be having Raekwon McMillan back there is gonna help those young guys. But again, we've got one guy who has college football experience in Michael Hill, and that's you at least need 2. So that being just vulnerable in the middle. We don't know what we have. We liked what we saw in the spring game. That was divided squads. We didn't have some of our offensive linemen in there. If we just give me one more tackle. If we had one more, I'd be a lot happier. It's a major concern for me.
So Sprinkle is still in prove-it-to-you mode, Tracy Sprinkle?
He's played. Well, I guess I'm looking forward to the younger guys with Draymond Jones.
Sure.
And I don't see. I even forget about Sprinkle. I'm just not convinced that he's going to be a guy. I hope he is. I love his effort. He seems like a great kid. He got himself in a jam and he worked his way out of the doghouse. I'm just not convinced he's a guy that is going to be a difference maker.
How about, most people, if I would have asked them that question, they would have said the secondary. I think that's the obvious answer. I mean, good Lord, we're not going to say linebacker from now until 2030. What's your vibe on the DBs?
Well, I'm not so much corner. I'm fine with. I mean, Conley really came on last year. Good football player. I'm not really worried about the other side, especially if Lattimore is healthy. He's such an elite athlete. I hope Buckeye fans get a chance to see him. Just keep those hammies together, dude. Safety, of course, it's been a major concern for a long time. All through the Tressel era, with his tendency to just move people back there, has been a concern. You got one starter, and Eric Smith, who's played some football, but Malik Hooker has not played at all. You got an elite young guy coming in Jordan Fuller, and that's about it. So that too is a concern, but I just liked what I saw of Hooker in the spring game. Always liked Eric Smith, and Jordan Fuller is such an elite athlete. I just got a gut feeling that he's going to be pushing. He's going to make it into the game a lot this year. Defensive tackle, we just need I want somebody else to step up in there.
You know, on the offensive side of the ball, I think it's pretty obvious. I think there's plenty of talent at wide receiver. It's just, it feels very unproven, like you said.
One catch, Noah Brown, 2 years ago, is the only split end on the roster, big X receivers, that has played. I mean, you look at all the talent. You got Gibson, you got Mack, you got Victor, you got. I really like Alex Stump, and you know, he had a couple of catches in the spring game where he showed well. KJ Hill's a good football player. I mean, Corey Smith is the only guy out there, and he's not really a ex-receiver that has any kind of college experience. And, you know, that thing that quarterbacks and receivers need to develop. How much time have they had together? How much time have these guys had with JT? So that's a real big concern. I would say receiver more so than line. I just got a gut feeling the offensive line is going to come together. I like what we're seeing out of Coach Stud. Big guys, talented guys that are in shape. You know, we saw a video just a couple of days ago of the offensive line, and I'm looking at these guys and I'm thinking, I mean, do these guys have six packs at 310 pounds? They're just big athletic guys that can move. I'm not that worried as far as, you know, the talent level. I think that those guys are going to step up. But you do have to, you know, when you're talking about live action, high quality defensive linemen on the other side and experience, it's a concern. Yeah.
Last Thursday I had Alex Whiteman on instead of Steve Wilfong, who was on vacation, and we spent a lot of time talking about Joe Burrow. The fact is, I mean, we're one snap away from Burrow being the man. Does that concern you, or did you see enough in the spring game and from what you've heard to be comfortable with the idea of Burrow as the man?
I use the word optimistic, not confident. We don't know. Again, you know, just like with the offensive line, you've got all these big athletic guys. Are they going to step up? How are they going to handle with the game on the line? I loved what I saw out of Burrow. He was live, he was getting hit, and the offensive line was piecemeal, and he was still standing in there making throws, making the right throws. I'm optimistic that Joe Burrow can step in and handle the job. Yeah, I'm not as concerned about that. I mean, you know what, Dan? I'd even be more concerned about running back than I am a quarterback. I've never been that high on Michael Weber. And then you've got the new kid, Antonio Williams. That's it. I mean, when you throw some guys back there, that if they were running backs, they'd be running backs. I'm not worried about Joe Burrow. I think he can handle it.
I gotta agree with you there, and certainly as we run down the list of concerns, I wouldn't put Burrow anywhere near the top. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Now, keep in mind, Duane and I are not claiming the emperor has no clothes. I think we're both super high on the squad, but there are a few concerns heading into the season. Definitely things you want to keep an eye on, and we will continue to keep an eye on that this morning. Don't forget, we will have coverage of the team. Dave Biddle and Steve Fellwagen are there with bells on getting ready. We'll have video, we'll have interviews, and we'll have it out to you really quick. Keep it locked in, Bucknutters. Have a great one.